Have you ever felt the weight of being labeled all over the place because of your many passions? If so, let me ask you this. Are you ready to break free from the shackles of societal norms and boldly showcase your ability to innovate and turn vision into reality? Can you imagine aligning your passions, purpose, and profession without compromise? Well, you're not alone, and you're in the right place. I get it because I am you. I'm Jateya Jones of Jateya Jones Consulting, and I've walked the path of a multi-passionate. Welcome to the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast. Join me for inspiring conversations with multi-passionate CEOs who've turned their diverse passions into a force for change. We dive deep into our collective experiences, sharing invaluable lessons, and providing you with a strategic roadmap to manifest the life and business of your wildest dreams. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. And I'm not just your podcast host, I'm your partner in this dynamic journey. You, me, and the incredible community of multi-passionates. Get ready to unlock the confidence, courage, and clarity to help you become the world-changing multi-passionate CEO you were destined to be. Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast. I am excited to talk about this topic this week for a couple of reasons, but mainly because you guys know I like to be transparent and honest and share my journey and lessons learned along the way. And I'm working on my vulnerability, right? Because being transparent for me has always been easy. I just share, if you ask, I'll share, right? But being vulnerable is totally different. That's like volunteering the information. That has not always been me. That has never been me. But to that point, that is a good segue into what this episode is really about. I struggle with what I was going to call this episode because there's so many topics or points that I want to talk about, but don't get stuck at the problem is what stood out the most to me. So me knowing and identifying that, yes, I'm transparent, but I'm not vulnerable, and that is the cause to some of the issues, I could just stay there. I don't have to take action to make anything different. Me identifying that going along my healing journey, I find myself frustrated with people who aren't at the point I am in the healing journey. And not because I'm all high and mighty, no, but because I want them to hurry up and get to where I am so they can feel the level of freedom or fulfillment that they truly desire, right? Because my heart is all about wanting you to get what you want. But I also know that they can't get here until they get here. Their journey is their journey. My journey is my journey. But also what I'm noticing in many different settings that I'm in is that a lot of people like to just identify the problem and get stuck there. I know some people that are like, oh, I have ADHD. Now I know why I'm like this. Okay. Now, how do we implement tips and tools and tricks for you to not be that way? For you not to wait until everything is gone to hell in a hell basket, for you to want to procrastinate and then hurry up because you work well under pressure. How do we evolve past the problem and not get stuck at the problem? Because yes, you should feel a whole lot of excitement and success in identifying the problem, because it is hard when you really don't know what the issue really truly is, because then you don't know how to fix it. But because we've struggled for so long to identify the issue, many of us get stuck there. We get stuck there. And I want you to not get stuck at the problem, but implement solutions. Even if the next step is figuring out what that solution is, because you don't know, that's fine. But let's figure out a solution and implement. Let's not get stuck there. And what really sparked this off is because it's, as I go on my healing journey, becoming one of my biggest pet peeves to hear people say, I've always been that way. But are you planning on staying that way? Like forever? Forever? Many of us quickly see the changes that happen in babies. Like this, they're walking, talking, moving, shaking. When 2 days ago, they were literally dependent on you for everything. But we don't see that rapid change in self for two reasons. One, all of our attention and focus is on everybody else but ourselves. We're putting ourselves last and hardly ever make it to ourselves on the list. And for two, because we stop our growth. We stop our growth. Many of us, I've heard it so many times, and it boils my blood that, well, it was good for them back then, it's good for me today. Or I ain't never gonna change. Or if it worked, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Because the one constant in life is change. Things are gonna change. And if you don't change with it, you will become extinct like the dinosaurs. I was listening in on a conversation on a conference call, and this lady was hell bent on doing it her way because she's always done it that way. But her question was surrounding, how do I navigate situations that, but she didn't ever consider just changing the way she did things. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening and I'm like, one, we can just not do it. We have that option, right? But two, what's your definition of success and what's your definition of failure? Because sticking to the fact that I've always been this way, I'm gonna ride it out, I'm gonna finish, I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. I'm a woman of my word, I am. But I had to learn at one point in time that I can call an audible. I can make changes. If it no longer serves me, especially in my business, which is hard initially, don't get me wrong, none of this is easy. Change is never easy, okay? But I don't want you to be committed to not changing. And she was committed to being, I'm a woman, I'm going to finish what I started. But how is this serving you? Is it continuing to serve you today? Can you finish it in a different way? Do we have to be married to the journey that we set out on? The direction, Waze will tell me, they rerouted me in a heartbeat if something is happening up ahead, if change has happened, if the lanes are no longer clear, because they're going to get me to my destination, but it might not be my original route that I chose. Because change is the only constant that we know. Change is going to happen. And so saying this is how I've always been, but who do you want to become? Can you stay the same and become who you want to become, who you know you're destined to become? Or are you okay with being stuck and stagnant with who you are? You guys know I've been on my personal becoming and it don't feel good. I chose to take, what is the blue pill or the red pill? I don't remember no more. Because it's been like the Matrix, and every day is an aha moment. And it's like, oh, that's why I do things that I do. Yeah, no, that's not going to lend me the results that I want. That's not going to get me what I want. So we need to call an audible. We need to make a change. What's the next play? I was talking with a client recently and she kept saying, well, that's the how I've always been. So I know. And I'm like, you're getting stuck in regret because you're looking at the past. If this was a football game and there's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, You still want to win this game. Who gives a rat's behind about the plays that you did in first and second quarter? What can we focus on right now to get us to this W in the next 2 minutes? You still crying because you fumbled the ball in first quarter? Yeah, that sucks. But we don't have time to beat ourselves up about it because we got to focus and we got to figure out what's the audible we're about to call so we can win this game in the next 2 minutes of the fourth quarter because this is it. You're going to have to make a decision and stick with it and ride it out. And then if that don't work in that next play, change your mind. But if it's working, then let's stick to it. Let's go because the goal is to win. The goal is to get to what you want. This is why my planner is called Plan to Win. This is why my method is called Plan to Win because we're going to win regardless. There is no reason on God's green earth that you should not win. If he gave you the vision, if he gave you the idea, if he gave you the passion, if he gave you this burning, yearning desire in your gut that you're destined for something more, even when you don't know what more is, then you're going to get it. We just got to figure out how. That's it. There is no other option. There is no other option. I tell people all the time I work with big vision problem solvers because we don't just see this one little lane of the problem. We see the whole thing. And we're like, if we could holistically approach this, we could truly shift the culture of how things are done to really solve the problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it. But that means something has to change. And when you're trying to turn a mission into a movement, which many have done, there is no not winning. There is no not getting it done. It's just how do we make it happen? What needs to change to make it happen? That includes you. So standing 10 toes down on this is how I've always been, what good is that doing for you? I used to always be like, I'm a nice person, and I would feel bad when I had to actually enforce a boundary. What good was that doing for me? Absolutely freaking frag nothing. Now I know the difference between kindness and nice. I'm kind, but I'm not always nice. You're not always going to like the truth that you're going to hear that comes out of my mouth because I want you to win. Those that used to be able to manipulate me and make me feel bad because I was a nice person and I was raised to be nice. I was raised to be, yes, ma'am, no, sir. So I could be manipulated, right? Basically. And I would do what people wanted me to do. That has gone out the window. I am still a very kind person. And I enjoy being nice to those that I can be nice to. But there's a time and place for nice. We can always be kind. That's a change that I had to make. And it's one that didn't feel good. It didn't feel right because I was like, I've always been nice. I had to find my voice. I had to actually implement that no is a full, complete sentence. I had to say no to people that normally I would have always said yes to. I had to put me first. And I had to explain to people and self that self first isn't selfish. Selfish is when I have no disregard for nothing and nobody but me. But no, I'm just putting me self first. I'm prioritizing me. So if it's I gotta meet a deadline, I'm gonna meet that deadline and we'll just have to get together. I love you. I do. And because I am not willing to sacrifice the time over here to do absolutely nothing but hang out with you, if you feel some type of way about that, then I need you to work through that with you. I still love you. And I still want to hang out with you, just not right now. Well, old me would have been like, okay, so we can go hang out with them and we can do this, that, and the third. And then we can come back home and then we'll get to work and we'll finish it. Knowing good and well, I'll be too tired by the time I got home. And it'll be 2 days, if not 2 weeks later, and I still haven't finished it because I was nice. Because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. Because I wanted to make sure that they felt at the expense of how I felt or what I wanted or what I even needed. 10 toes down to how you've always been is going to prevent you from becoming who you're destined to be and the CEO you desire to be. So what changes do we need to implement? Let's not get stuck at the problem. We've identified, whether it's through therapy, life, God, downloads, journaling, however you identify this situation. Okay, great. Let's celebrate that we now know what the problem is. Let's identify a solution, or at least a system or a tactic to help us get to what we want. We don't want to stay stuck at the problem, right? You guys have heard me say a lot in this season that you have to become who you're destined to become the CEO you desire to be. Once upon a time, someone asked me, are multi-passionates born or made? And my knee jerk was like, this way. And after some deep reflection, research, testing out some hypotheses, asking people, we are definitely made. We are definitely made. And I'm going to put a picture of the Multipassionate Lifecycle somewhere over here so you can see it. Or I might just blow it up in the screen so you can clearly see it. And through the life cycle of a multi-passionate, there are steps and stages where you got to make a change. You got to implement something so that you can go from just surviving to thriving. You can't get stuck at the problem. And I hate to admit it, but becoming a multi-passionate can be the problem for a lot of us. And we get stuck there because we aren't able to find a good solution because not many people get us, right? The first solution that I always give any multi-passionate to help you begin aligning your passions, your purpose, and your profession so you can make that profit is the common thread course. Identifying what's the common thread between all of those. You can connect the dots between the past, the present, and where you want to go in the future. But you have to identify the synergies in everything because all of who you are is what's going to actually help you be who you're supposed to be, who you're not, I hate the supposed to be's, but who you're destined to be so you can become the CEO you desire to be. And that's the CEO for somebody else's company, your company, or just your life. Because you are the CEO of your life. You get to make executive decisions on a daily basis, whether or not we go left, right, up, or down. So with that being said, let me explain to you like bits and pieces, not bits and pieces, but a lot of the multi-passionate life cycle, right? So let's see if I can actually do this. So, uh-oh. So that if the image was already there. Okay, so step one. As kids, we're oblivious to any problems there are, and we're just happy and we're exploring life. And normally that's when we are the most in tune to our common thread, our purpose, what God put us on earth to do. Okay, we may not know our assignment yet, but our purpose is somewhere in the things that we love and enjoy the most as kids, or the questions that we ask as kids. It's in there. However, you get to a point during step 2 of exploration, where we're filling out things more, we're interested in more things, but 9 times out of 10, this is the phase that our parents shut ish down because they love out of fear. And the main way they know how to love us is to help us become productive citizens of society. So once we're out the nest, they know we're okay and we can fend for ourselves financially. And so they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh no, what about a doctor or lawyer or cop? They're pushing you in the areas that they know make money, engineer, right? And they're not supporting the things that truly may be it. 9 times out of 10 that you circle back to some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so then what do? We begin to chase the money. We either go to school, go to college or not, but we start to chase the money because money makes the world go round. We cannot ignore that fact. And then we get burnt out because we're not fulfilled. And for many of us females, when we're not using it, we don't lose it, but we get imposter syndrome like no other. All of a sudden, I'm not qualified when you're overly qualified. And so we try to monetize some of our passions. Y'all know I'm a certified bartender or certified nail tech, event planner, and we're actually thinking about bringing back Hype Girl Entertainment, just so y'all know, which is what I used to do my events under back in like 2008 through like, I don't even remember how long, but those were good times. But I'm actually feeling like, let's do a little party in these, then celebrate some things this year. So we're gonna bring Hype Girl back. But I was trying to make money from all of my passions, mainly because I just wanted to make money doing what I love. And this is a spoiler alert. Your passions are your how. They're not your what. They're not what you naturally do. They're how. They're a method to fulfillment that pays the bills, hopefully. But because it wasn't a cohesive, holistic way of doing things, it wasn't the what. I didn't tap into the what for real. I hadn't identified the what. It was just a piece of the puzzle. I got burnt out. So I was like, on to the next. Or it didn't pay the bills fast enough. I couldn't leave the 9 to 5 and do it and make a living. And so I would jump to the next. This is where our side hustlers come from. This is where our employeepreneurs are born. Because it's like my job pays the bills, but it's not fulfilling. So I'm going to go outside and do the thing that lights me up and puts a little money in my pocket. So as I used to call them, my expensive hobbies, okay? And then the 9 to 5. The money's not enough or it's not enough money. Like you can't pay me enough money to stay here. I felt both of those, okay? And that's when I started to seek clarity. And this is when many of you began to seek clarity. I also say like after post-global disruption is what I call it because it's going to happen again, whether it's COVID or another epidemic or whether it's a recession or war, but post-global disruption, we really started to take a hard look at our priorities. And this is when many of us be like, okay, you know what? F all it is. Let me truly prioritize what I want. Or death is imminent and it's like, okay, like let me live my life to the fullest because, right? And so we really are seeking clarity and we really want to like unscramble the scramble because it's all up here. I always describe it as like a tornado. And I see the cow flying past the car and the street sign and all the things and I'm trying to make sense of all of it and I can't, but I know it all goes together somehow and it's a mental storm. And this is why I encourage journaling because you get it out. And once you're able to see it all on the paper, we can organize it in things. And this is why I truly love like what I do, because I get to help quiet the storm, unscramble the scramble, put the pieces of the puzzle together and create an action plan to make a thing to get you what you truly want personally and professionally. Because separating them, you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to get what you truly want. You can't not look at your personal and build your business out, because then something about the business is going to impede on the personal. So we got to look at all of it. What's the lifestyle you truly want to live so we can build a business around that and not the other way around? That's what we do at our 9 to 5. We have to wait to PTO until we can enjoy the life. So we build our life around work when it should be work built around your life, right? And so being able to identify that common thread that ties together your passions, your purpose, and your profession, and the profit that pays the bills. Identifying that in step 7 is what helps you leverage. Many of you want to just replace the 9 to 5 doing the thing that you love. There are some of you that are like, I will stay at this 9 to 5. Honestly, I was her. I call us do better Betties. We want everything and everybody to be better. But a lot of times our 9 to 5s won't allow us the space and the grace to implement these things to make the business better. And that's why we end up starting the side hustles or the side businesses, right? And becoming employeepreneurs because we know there's an impact that we're supposed to have on the world. And if they won't let us do it, we still gonna do it come hell or high water, as they say in the country. But being able to identify that allows you to leverage. You can either now be like, okay, I know this is my common thread. Let me find the job, the role, the title that allows me to function in that lane. So you might not need to leave your company. Maybe it's just a different role or title. Or maybe you need to leave the company and go to a company that allows you to be more innovative. But now that you know, you can leverage that so that your passions, your purpose, and your profession are aligned. And that's where the fulfillment and the income comes in. Okay. And for those of you who are like, I meant to like do the thing, I meant to build the thing. God has given me this vision. He's given me this big vision. I'm gonna go get it. I meant to build the future today. Right? But you know how to leverage that and make a thing and do it in ease and excellence because you know your common thread. So then hopefully you find me and we create your action plan because that's what at the end of the day, yes, I provide clarity. Yes, I help you connect the dots. Yes, I help you communicate digitally, verbally, and visually. But more than anything, what I love to do is help you get what you want, personally and professionally. And to do that, we have to create you an action plan, a winning plan. See what I did there? Plan to win. So that you know your next steps. And like I said, with the planner, you implement 3 steps a day to make your dreams come true. So like, I don't know if y'all can see this. This is the planner. That's my little jot down the 3 things that I need to do every day. And you break it down until you can literally reach your goal. So like, this is the old planner, y'all, but see that? Professional and personal. And it's just 3 lines for must do, should do. And then we tally it up. We keep a track, we keep a score because we're trying to win, y'all. Okay. And also because literally, let's see, I wrote this down. Where is that note, y'all? I got so many books. But I wrote this down the other day. I was listening to Asana had a webinar on like how AI is affecting the future of business standards and things of that nature, right? And so the guy was talking about, here we go. He said there's a difference between time management and priority management. And I had to write it down because I was like, boom, like that is it. That is why I didn't know at the time, but that is why I didn't put times in my planner. And no, it don't go from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. No, it doesn't. One, because I'm a freight train. Once I get going, I get going. So time blocking really doesn't work for me because I can't stop. I can, but I'm not going to be as. But you have 3 things to make a choice and decide on because it is priority management, not time management. Yes, those should do's need to be done, but they're not the things that are truly moving the needle forward. So we're all about priority management versus time management. Now, is time management important? Yes, it is, because we can get on Candy Crush or Instagram or TikTok and be on there 4 hours. Okay. I do feel you need a mental break, but that's where time management comes in. But when it comes to implementation and getting the things done, moving the needle forward, making your dream a reality, you need priority management. So that's why we have must-dos and should-dos, okay? That is all part of the action plan. We break it all the way down by goal, then steps, then task. And we put those tasks and we break them down by quarter, by each week in the quarter, and by each day in the week. So that you know, if you don't do nothing else, these 3 steps will get you to making your dreams come true. There are some days we knocking it out. Knock it out the box, Rick. Knock it out, Rick. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway. And then there are those days that you be on struggle street. Just do those 3 and give yourself the space and grace to struggle, okay? But that's where the action plan comes in at 9, and that leads you to 10, where your purpose and your money, and you are literally living the dream and abundantly walking in purpose. And you're able to fulfill the assignment that God has given you. Because your purpose is like what you do, what you're destined to do, and who you're destined to be. And then your assignment is the thing you're supposed to build, the thing, how you're supposed to shift the culture and make the world a better place. That vision that God has given you, that thing He told you you needed to do. Yeah, I'm talking to you. That thing we don't really want to talk about or say because we're so afraid that people are going to look at us like we have 2 heads, and or we don't want to fail, so we don't want to tell people, so we really don't have to start. We can work around it in the dark, DIY it in the dark. But either way it goes, my friend, seeking clarity is going to get you to some changes, because everything after that is helping you become who you're destined to be so you can become the CEO you desire to be. And that is going to take some change, because unfortunately, for many visionaries, change agents, multi-passionates, big vision problem solvers, we've been conditioned over the years to put ourselves in a box so others can feel comfortable. And you're going to have to unlearn some things to learn what best serves you. So I love you and I would love to help you. But if you stuck on the problem, if you stuck on how you've always been, I am not the person for you. I'm not. Because the past is in the past and we're building the future today. You have to pull from the future in order to create it today. Not stay stuck in the past. So that's it. That's all this week. I really just wanted to get that off my chest and share with you what is really becoming a pet peeve of mine and how I'm having to really truly tap into the space and grace for others as they are on their journey. Because I'm just so excited and I can't wait for others to get to this phase of the journey. So you can walk and live abundantly in purpose, function in ease and excellence, and literally turn your dream into a reality. That vision that you have, and you get what you want. So what do you want? I'm gonna leave that with you. What do you want? And once you decide, or you're courageous enough to say it, let's create you the action plan to get you what you want. That's it. That's all. I hope you guys have a marvelous, marvelous Monday. And I will talk to you same place, same time. No, I won't. That's what I say on Mocha Mondays. Because next week is a guest episode, y'all. But I will talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful week. And if you're willing to not be stuck in the past, let's create your action plan and move you forward in the future. Let's get off the hamster wheel and climb up the ladder of not just achievement and success, but also fulfillment. You really can have the life of your dreams. And I want to help you get there. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast. I hope you found the incredible stories and insights shared to be helpful. Now, before you go, I want to take a moment to express my genuine gratitude to each and every one of you. Your commitment to aligning your passions, purpose, and profession is what makes this podcast community so special. If you resonated with any of today's episode, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. By subscribing, you're not just joining a podcast, you're becoming a part of a movement that celebrates the brilliance of being multi-passionate. To amplify this movement, I need your help. Share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, and fellow multi-passionates. Let's create a ripple effect of empowerment and inspiration. Lastly, I'm eager to hear your thoughts. What stood out the most in today's episode? Drop a comment or share your takeaways on social media by using the hashtag Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast. Your insights might just spark a connection or the clarity someone else needs. Remember, the power of Multipassionates lies in our collective journey, and by sharing our stories, not only do we inspire each other, but also break down barriers and redefine success on our own terms. Your support means the world, and together we're building a space where multi-passion meets purpose and dreams evolve into reality. Stay confident, stay courageous, and let's continue this transformative journey together. Until next time, keep thriving and becoming the world-changing multi-passionate CEO you were destined to be. If you're not a part of the community and desire to join us, click the link in the show notes or visit jateyajones.com/community.